Hello everybody, this is Purge, bringing you guys a first-person replay commentary. I played this game yesterday. It is a Phantom Assassin game, and if I check my handy-dandy spreadsheet, you can see how long it last was since I made a PA game. Phantom, go up. It has been October 8th. No, that's Phantom Lancer. Okay, thank God. I was like, no way. September 2nd, apparently, so it's like a month and a half, 2 months, whatever. This game's good. I'm gonna upload it, don't care. I was playing this game with Aosin. This is a captain's draft game, and unfortunately you can't actually see the heroes that are in the pool, so you're actually not going to be able to see any of the stuff that I was doing this entire time during the drafting. So I guess I'm just going to, cover this up a little bit, and, oops, that's not working correctly. Let's move this over here. Is this correct? That looks okay. Alright. And we're going to speed this up to like 8 times. Oh god. Holy crap, slow down. Oh my god. Okay. We did it. Alright.
Prepare for battle.
So, first things first. Phantom Assassin, let's say buffs and nerfs to the recent patch. 6.79 changed her very slightly. She can now crit on her dagger, depending on her levels of ulti, which means that it can do a pretty serious amount of damage. Keep in mind the dagger does half damage to heroes, so it only does 90 pure damage at max level. If you crit with that, up to 450%, this means you do about a little bit over 400 pure damage, like 409 pure damage to heroes. You can also crit with a dagger on creeps, but that's not halved, so that should mean that you can do up to 800 pure damage to creeps. But it's very rare that you're going to be throwing dagger at creeps anyways. The only big creep that I can really think of is maybe like stealing neutrals, or maybe Chen creeps, or perhaps like a infernal golem, something like that. But I can't really imagine any other examples where I'd honestly want to dagger a creep. So mostly useful for heroes, and a couple times this game the crit on the heroes was actually very useful. So starting item build, I was anticipating a Broodmother in the lane because I looked up and saw her, which means that number one, you have to get a Stout Shield. If you do not have a Stout Shield and you're a melee farmer against a Broodmother, you are going to lose the game, period. It's not going to be a fun time at all. Was this CD? No, maybe this is AP. I guess this was an AP. I'm sorry. I played a CD game yesterday as well, but this was not it, so my mistake. Stout Shield is absolutely mandatory against Broodmother. You guys will get some tips about how to beat Broodmother this game as well, since she's been remade. And I also bought extra tangos, because since it's a Broodmother, there's prone to be a lot of harassment, so I decided to spend the extra 125 gold to put me in an okay spot. I believe I randomed, so you shouldn't be able to have these item builds unless you randomed as well. But if I did random, I would just go for a Stout Shield, a Salve Tango, and 2 Ironwood branches instead of the slipper here. That would be the build that I would do instead. And there's nothing really that wrong with that build. I failed to mention this yesterday when I made my post-patch update video, but I really recommend just skipping an extra Ironwood branch. Most builds should just have 1 less Ironwood branch or 1 less Clarity Potion in them. For support heroes, it's a little bit more tricky, but I would still prioritize regen a bit more. You can kind of get away with it because you get 4 tangos now instead of just 3, but usually just shave off 1 Ironwood branch and then you can have about the same items. The Brute's doing a really smart thing here, and he's actually hiding in the trees, which means that if we do want to go on him, it's not going to be easy. And in fact, our Crystal Maid is actually invisible right now, which means she should be able to initiate, so we're just kind of waiting for the Brood to show up, and then we could actually drop a sentry and try to blow him up. It's going to be pretty tough though, because I'm not even level 2 yet, so the best I can do is like a 25 damage pure nuke, and then maybe run up close and get some right clicks in, but we can do our best basically. Solid Frostbite. Our Fissure is actually going to block on the wrong side, but it's not like that mattered. Honestly, the Fissure does nothing to Brood. It literally does a nuke. He can walk over the Fissure no matter what, so our chances of actually killing him there were very, very minuscule, so whatever, didn't matter that much. Anyways, I continue last city and everything is going fine. Heroes I'm up against this game, we've got a PL. That's the one that's going to be a little scary. It's a Naga support, I believe. Leshrac is a little scary at times, and Magnus as well, so we have to worry about RPs, we have to worry about songs, and we mostly have to worry about a late game PL, which, like I said, can be a scary thing. I've denied a lot of creeps so far in the lane, as you guys can see. I've denied way more than anybody else in this game. It's really important that you deny against an offlaner, because most times you know for a fact that they aren't going to be getting any last hits, so you definitely want to contest them if possible. Unfortunately, I didn't butter that one up. I will be wanting to make a poor man's shield really fast in this lane. This is why I picked up my Slipper of Agility. Normally I don't pick up a Slipper in a safe farming position. The only time I ever do is when I do actually end up planning to make a poor man's shield. So could have just meleeed that one, didn't actually have to dagger it. That is Hannah Montana, by the way. He played in TI2, if you guys aren't aware. Should be able to buy boots. Yeah, that looks all good. Played in TI2 on Complexity, the farthest reaching North American team. Oh, wait, or did EG go farther? I can't remember. I cannot remember. I think EG went farther, but Complexity was vaguely close. They did best in the group stage, I remember. I maybe could have gone after this Brood and pressured him. I maybe should have as well, because I did have boots, but I should, if I did, I needed to start running immediately. It's actually not very strong as a Brood to leave the webs, and as soon as you leave the webs, you actually lose your movement. See, I played as him the other day, so some of his limitations are completely web space. If he's outside of the web space, he is really slow, and he's pretty easy to kill. You just have to chase him down a bit. I took this opportunity to blink on him because I knew he didn't have a web over here, so I figured I'd get some damage in. Might as well. And actually did quite a bit there, and that only cost me about 75. So take those moments when you can, because he does get HP regen from the webs, but it's not like, you know, you're completely invulnerable once you get in the webs. If you can keep him down to half HP, it's going to make his chances and his opportunities of being aggressive less. Now I also maybe should have picked up a level of evasion right here, just because it's probably a bit better than picking up blink. It's also important to right-click the spiders if they do actually go on you, because any last hit that you get on spiders is actually a decent amount of EXP. Unfortunately, I missed that one because the creep last hit it instead, but... And using the soaring is really not too... It's like going all the way up the cliff. Maybe making phase boots next, gives me a better last hitting. Occasionally we're getting glimmers of the Brood in the trees here. But he's always spotting us out.
Dire's top tower
now he's down on the low ground, I can't blink on him, so I just said whatever. I'll just keep last hitting.
Killing spree.
Looks like our Darkseer died. For the second time. Okay. So 2 Darkseer deaths,
Dire's
1 on
middle
Night
tower is
Stalker.
under attack.
Alright, so now I got phase boots finished. Phase boots really important on Phantom Assassin. Oh, I should have blinked on that, I think. If I would have blinked on that a bit earlier, I might have gotten the kill. It's hard to say with the sentry up. Maybe. Phase boots is always the boots you should get on Phantom Assassin, I think. Without any excuse. I don't think there's any boots that is better for the hero. The main reason is the mobility after you blink is really nice. Because whenever you blink onto somebody, you get really, really good attack speed. And then immediately after that, you just need to run after them. So phase boots is good to use. Just do a dagger, do a blink, and then you use your phase boots, and then you should be able to close the distance and get a ton of hits on them. Also, phase boots are great because they increase your crit number by a huge amount. If you go treads instead, you only get 8 damage out of them, and your crits are way, way less severe. Always grab your ulti at 6. Oh, and also the phase boots help you last hit amazing too. Her base damage is actually pretty crappy. If you guys saw, I was hitting for I think like 48, 50 or something in the early levels, so it was not very good. I decided to blink to that creep because I wanted to dodge a potential RP. I actually did crit right there on the Magnus, which gave us enough damage to get a kill. So that was pretty big. Now that my salve is just about run out, I can now clean up a kill. So I got a double kill out of that, which is really, really good. It was a nice gank from the Night Stalker. I was pretty happy that I survived that. I don't know what the hero level the Magnus was, but he didn't feel like RPing, I guess. I thought he was going to. Oh, he's level 5, okay. Alright, got an assist there too.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
So that was a really good start to our game. Really good for me. Accidentally crit the creep. Ooh, free hits. I'm a little bit low on mana here. If I would have crit him there, I think I could have killed him. Bought a Ring of Health next to try to get my survivability up in case I get ganked again, since I burned all my regen.
Regeneration.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
And the reason I bought... Oh man, I really wanted to crit there. The reason I bought the Ring of Health is because I'm going to have to make a Battle Fury this game. There's pretty much no... There's basically no way around it. I have to make a Battle Fury. Grabbed a level of evasion, and got the easiest kill I've ever seen. I don't think he realized I had a sentry or something. I was really confused by that, but he did a lot of confusing things the whole game, actually, now that I think about it. So this Brood is definitely going to continue to confuse you. One level evasion is pretty mandatory early, though. It's one level. It gives you 20%, which is pretty massive. That's like having a Talisman of Evasion almost. Talisman of Evasion gives you 1800. Or it costs 1800, it gives you 25% evasion. And now I have to be a bit more careful about my initiations. I'm going to pick up a magic stick here. And I'm going to blink forward, do some harass. Because I can. I'm not quite sure why the Darkseer came bottom, probably because she was having a rough time top, but this isn't the right option. I think what she should be doing is going back to the top lane and not feeding. I think it would be the good one. Like, I understand that they're dying a lot, but the support combos that she has to be careful about are the, I believe the Naga as well as the Leshrac. That combo together is very likely to get a kill on her.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
But just coming bottom and like spamming Iron Shell and creep waves, all that's going to do is push out my lane, for example. So, God, that Arcane Boots was so good, it like completely filled my mana. So now that I have one level of evasion, and I can evade one of every 5 hits on average, I can now get my Phantom Strike cooldown very low. And once you get Phantom Strike cooldown very low, it's going to increase your DPS in a team fight a lot. And basically how you kind of play a PA in early games is you just kind of like, you wait till somebody's a bit low or somebody's out of position and you dagger and blink on them. And you just hit them a couple times and you retreat and you wait for cooldowns again and you wait for somebody else out of position and you can dagger blink again. So you kind of do this a lot of like in and out on this hero. And that's why usually you end up going for a lot of support items similar to something like a drums and a Vlad's is a really common early game PA item because it makes you really strong early relatively. You get pretty good HP, you have really good survivability with your armor, and you have some lifesteal. I couldn't go that build this game though because of the heroes that I was against, and I'll talk about that right now I guess. The reason is because we were against not only a Broodmother who has a bunch of AoE problems, or I need AoE to deal with, but we're also against a PL. So if you're against a PL, you absolutely have to get Battle Fury. There's no other way around it. I guess you could get a Maelstrom, but I don't think this is the right choice. Battle Fury is definitely the way to go. You need to be able to cleave the illusions and kill them relatively fast. If you can't kill the illusions fast, they will build up to uncontrollable levels, assuming he has vaguely equal farm to you, and then you're going to lose the fight every time. Like, you literally can't kill him. You need a way to deal with the illusions. And if I get a Battle Fury, that means I can continue to soul against Brood, and there's no way he can overwhelm me. If he has, like, 25 spiders trying to kill me, I can't auto-attack them down one by one. It's just not possible. So, my poor courier.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
I'm a little surprised he didn't go for that, honestly. I think he could have killed it if he would have just gone for it over the tower. I have to be a little careful about damage right now, because his spiders actually do quite a bit. With the Poor Man's Shield, you can block some of it, I think. Maybe I didn't really see it blocking any damage there. I didn't hear the shield sound, at least.
Quiet.
Alright, there's a lot of heroes here, so I decided to TP. The Brood also nuked me just to, like, do some damage. You guys like this kill? It's a high-skilled kill.
Stifle it.
So now I gotta run all the way back to the bot lane because he's gonna push if I don't. My TP there was maybe not needed. I assume they would have gotten the kill regardless of me throwing that dagger or not, but whatever, I got another kill. My GPM should be higher than the PLs. I don't know for sure. Yeah, my net worth is a lot higher. EXP per minute's a lot higher. Gold per minute is pretty good, yeah. So got a blink there. We're gonna lose our crystal mana for this one, but all good. So we're kind of just snowballing on kills, and this makes a really big difference. And that's one of the nice things about PAs. You actually are fairly strong for a carry in the early game. Like, you maybe can't burst somebody down heavily, but you have a lot of contribution without having to commit overly. Like, you don't have a Chronosphere or something, but always having the dagger with the blink is, and phase boots alone is going to give you enough that you can actually do some serious damage to a couple people, so. She is one of my favorite early game carries for that reason, just because you can actually jump in and out of fights so much. We lost the tower, whatever. I should have a broadsword coming to me now, which means my Battle Furies can actually be really fast, considering I also have a phase boots and magic stick and a Poor Man's Shield. So everything's going okay. The Broodmother is going to be going for a Hand of Midas this game. This is a common build for Chinese players. Some of the Chinese pros really liked getting Midas Brood because you can farm it relatively fast because the hero farms quite fast. And then most importantly because it can help you catch up with levels and farm, and you can end up doing carry rather than more of like a semi-carry build. So it does make you a little weak early, but the hero honestly doesn't need that much money in the beginning of the game. So with just a Midas and a Soul Ring and boots, you can be pretty self-sufficient. So since Wade's a little pushed out, I don't really want to go up by the Brood because somebody else might gank me, so I'm just going to spend some time jungling. You can use your Blink Strike to jungle a little faster because it gives you 4 fast attacks with 100% attack speed, and then that runs out, and then you got to use Blink again. And now there's a lot of action going on in mid, so I'm going to shift over here to see if I can get a kill. And it doesn't really look like anything's happening just yet, so I'll just take a jungle camp for now. And kind of looks like action's happening. I'm gonna phase over here. I accidentally blinked into that skewer, which is pretty unfortunate. I had to get out of here. You have to be really careful in the early games of PA, honestly. Because it's basically like... Oops. Magic damage is basically your bane. While I may evade a bunch of attacks and I have all this offensive potential, I really have to worry about just dying to nuke damage, and that's kind of what almost happened there. That was just a skewer, I believe, and maybe a little diabolic edict damage, and I got down to like, what, 2/3 of my HP? Stuff is terrifying. Gotta be really careful. So I almost have my Battle Fury. All the lanes are being pushed in, so we're gonna go counter push once again.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I'm gonna have to send the courier out, and PL is also pressuring the top lane. He actually went Battle Fury first, so we can look at the items for everybody if you're curious. So it's a Vanguard first on PL. This is a very old build and very common in the past, and he also got Treads. Vanguard first, pretty common because it gave him HP regen that made the hero really difficult to kill. This is more when PL was not as popular of a carry. It makes him much harder to gank, honestly. If he has an extra 250 HP and he damage blocks a lot, it's not bad. Against the Night Stalker, I think it's a smart choice. Aosin made fun of the build, but you kind of have to get some kind of HP regen, and I've seen some PLs be like, oh, just go Vlad's instead. But Vlad's, I think, is a terrible PL item because it does absolutely nothing for his illusions, and honestly, all it really gives him is like solo jungling potential and solo lifesteal. It doesn't do anything for his illusions. 0. It doesn't give them armor, it doesn't give them damage, it doesn't give them lifesteal, nothing. So I don't think that's the right build. I think Vanguard is better than Vlad's, personally. Although you can push with it, so it gives you that instead. You can push. So anyways, got my Battle Fury finished. This is the ultimate pub build. Usually you grab a Helm of the Dominator in addition to this, but I decided to skip that because I wanted to focus more on real items that are better for team fighting and stuff. Although lifesteal is honestly not bad. I should have closed it a lot earlier. Did crit the Brood just there. 300 pure damage, hell yeah. Once you get the Battle Fury, you have a lot more burst potential, that's for sure. I basically have an all-the-time double damage right now, assuming I didn't have damage from phase boosts and stuff. So, pretty strong. Silence. Well, that was actually the real one. I'm considering jumping on these, but you have to be pretty careful because, again, I don't have that much survivability. My HP is really low, and the heroes, like, look at that, that was one spawn Spiderlings. If they actually grouped up and all threw their nukes on me, I would get quite low. I would be getting to like 40%, and then I could easily get killed, for example. Usually at this point you need to make a Black King bar, and Black King bar is usually a very early Phantom Assassin item that you have to pick up, just because you're going to be jumping into melee range and you're going to be probably taking a lot of fire as a result of it. And this usually makes you just kind of die, most of the time. Alright, Peel's now out farming me. Not too surprising because I've been roaming around to fight team fights and stuff. Got a Brood messed around in the jungle. Their whole team is actually in our jungle, which kind of scared me a little bit. I was like, okay, their whole team is in our jungle. I can't really farm this. In the meantime, Peel's basically just completely spreading out and farming his old jungle without too much threat of him dying. He has to worry a little bit about maybe like Night Stalker or something like that, but that's not too bad. And I'm just going to sit back and snake creeps occasionally. I do see some spiders though, and I like can't pass that up. If I just like crit on these, I get a lot of gold. And he just actually fed me a moderate amount there. It's actually quite a bit of gold to pick up the spiders. They're like 12 to 15 each. He's going to continue spamming me, but of course I do have a Ring of Health for my Battle Fury, so this isn't the worst thing. That's like the first example of Fissure being too short that I've ever seen. I think we're losing the mid tower right now. They're basically just split pushing us really well, and they definitely have the heroes for it. PL is really good at split push. Brood is really good at split push. Mostly those two heroes. Nog is actually really good as well because she can spawn her illusions. PL's just now finishing his defusal. It was too bad I didn't chase her. We could have gotten a kill actually. If I didn't realize he was going to leave the safety. I have to be a little careful against the PL right now since my HP is a bit low.
Killing spree.
So I'm just going to hang out behind the tower. I guess the fight's actually going to happen. I was a little upset that I actually TP'd to the mid lane instead, but it's a solid ulti from the Crystal Maiden there. It was a really good ulti.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And the PL's fighting the Night Stalker.
Dire's
Wasn't even
middle
watching
tower
this.
is under attack.
Alright,
Dire's
and
middle tower is
I
under
think the last
attack.
time I made a PL game, a PA game, sorry, I didn't prioritize maxing out Blur right away. Ice Frog's been changing how abilities scale a bit, but basically the skills that people really don't like maxing out, that they just kind of leave at a couple early levels, he now encourages you to max them out before level 16. And this is done by making the percentages scale a bit better for the 4th level than the 3rd level. So for this example, Blur ends up jumping 10% from 30% to 40%, and in this case, I think this skill is really worth maxing out immediately. Number 1 for spiders. Spiders are going to be attacking me constantly, so if I can reduce more of that damage, it's great. Also, if the Broodmother ever misses while he has his ulti on, this is not only a miss of damage, but also a miss of a lifesteal for him, which is a huge impact in the early game. I look completely out of position right now, and I believe this is, I died here, if I'm not mistaken. You can actually blink forward. I should be attacking here. I had a chance to kill him. Probably wasn't going to happen, but I was out of position and we didn't have wards up. So our Crystal Maiden just now puts wards up, and now, oh well, I died. So I should buy my Ogre Club here, I believe, for the HP, if I'm not mistaken. Oh yeah, another reason that evasion ends up being really useful. He's going to end up dying as well. He just got his wards up and they spotted that because they had a ward, if you guys noticed. See if they deward that. Looks like they didn't actually see the wards, so that's good. What was I saying? Oh yeah, evasion against PL is also huge. Every time the PL illusions miss, that is less mana drain from me and a lot less damage done as well. So based on this game, I actually feel like PA is a pretty darn good counter to the PL. You just have to build them correctly. You have to get the cleave. The cleave is very, very important.
Bottom tower is under attack.
I think I've played against lifesteal against PL, and I felt the same thing. You can play lifesteal against PL with some pretty good success as well. You just have to get a Mjolnir and a Battle Fury, or one or the other. I think I did, the game that I played, I went both, and it actually worked out pretty darn well. Wasn't a huge fan of this Iron Shell, but I was still able to get most of the last hits, so not too bad. Alright, so my Blur is now maxed. I've got 40% evasion to all right clicks. So now I really only have to worry about burst nukes, which is Riptide and Lance and Spawn Spiderlings and anything that Magnus is working with as well. And Leshrac especially. Leshrac has a lot of nukes. And he's basically the main reason that I'm getting a BKB, because as you guys saw, I'm still pretty squishy. Although a lot of the stuff that they're working with, their biggest disable is actually the Naga Net, and that's stoppable with physical reflection, meaning like Ghost Scepter would be a good way to stop that. Unfortunately, buying a Ghost Scepter this game is really not worth it at all. I don't want to build into a Ethereal Blade because I have no magic nukes, to be a big waste. Yep, that looks like a dead Darkseer. We did actually have dust though, so all is looking well. Oh, it's good I'm watching this. There's a couple times I remember now where Peel gets away and I was always mystified. I was like, where? I thought I grabbed the right one, and I was always confused. Getting pretty close to the BKB though. Again, this is going to help me teamfight. If teamfight actually starts, I can just pop BKB and I can jump in and I can hopefully just kill people. And I don't have to worry about it that much. We have okay ward vision right now, so I felt safe going for this creep wave, but I didn't really feel like taking a whole lot. So at that point, I waited on that last hit, or didn't wait on that last hit because I didn't feel safe.
Has fallen to the dire.
I really wished I could blink to the Ancients here, but I could not.
Dire's top tower
I just
is
checked
under
to see if I could do it because I wanted to stack it, but too bad. No stack for me. Yeah, jungling's also a lot better with the Battle Furies. This helps quite a bit. In terms of just keeping up farm against the PL, this makes a big impact. You can't really just play like, I'm just gonna gank and stay at the same farm as you. Like, you honestly have to match farm with the PL, and I think the only way to do that on a PA is to do a Battle Fury. plus actually to combat him in fights. So it kind of works out nice. It's like the one item that you need to actually counter the hero is... I should probably stop farming when there's a team fight. But I'm going to be a bit late. It's a nice echo.
Dire's middle tower is under
Killed the
attack.
Naga. I maybe could have gone on the Lesh.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
So overall, really good team fight for us. We got 3 kills. We didn't lose anybody. I'm going to go back and defend the top tower. Most importantly, I'm going to deny the tower immediately.
Radiant's top tower has been denied.
This is where I said I'm in trouble, guys. I need help.
Dire's middle tower is
And then I
under
remembered that I have 40% evasion, so I basically take no damage. That was pretty cool. I honestly thought I was going to die right there. If I didn't have 40% evasion, I was 100% dead. But, and then I had a 40% evasion. It was wonderful. Look at that crit. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that a beautiful thing? Isn't it great when illusions just die, like, on the first hit? It is so cool. Okay, got my BKB done. That looked like a Dagon. I think our the Broodmother is to going Dagon 5 this game, if I remember correctly. Picked up my BKB, I'm going to be phasing it. I'm, like, quickly trying to catch up. They're going to lose a lot of heroes, actually. I had no idea what that guy was doing, so I just killed him. I guess Brood was still there, but it's so confusing. Oh, we got 2. That was really weird. And we got spiders. So good. So we can push again. Peel didn't die, but we got everybody else on their team because they're doing these like really weird team fights. Not really sure. Honestly, felt like they like were completely dicking around this whole game. Is how this game felt. BKB is actually not that bad of a damage item either. It doesn't do a lot, but it gives you damage, plus 24 damage, and the HP is really nice. There's a couple nice things about the item. I wanted to try to take the tower. Looks like they actually did have their ultis up. The silence was very important. I didn't do a very good job last hitting that tower, but we did last hit it at least. So now we go back to farming. Peel's probably still out farming me. Yep, he is. But we are winning team fights and stuff, so whatever. Yeah, he's quite a bit ahead of me. He just finished his Manta. This should give him a Diffuse Blade 1 and a Manta style. Let's see. Yep, Diffuse Blade 1, Manta style, and a Vanguard. So it's pretty survivable.
Chaos Dunk. Dominating.
Still got him. Good. Justin is messaging me. I don't know why that's popping up at all, but it is. Did I open XSplit after or something? I don't know. That's maybe it like defaults to screen region if I open XSplit after Dota is already open. You're supposed to open XSplit before, I believe, so maybe that's why. Those pop-ups shouldn't show though. We're going to the LAN very soon. The LAN is today. There's a LAN at a Howie's Game Shack chain. The last time I went to Howie's Game Shack, it was like this a hang out and play Dota day, and Dota didn't work on any of the computers because the servers sent out a new patch, and none of the computers updated fast. So it was a complete waste of the day, and they wouldn't refund us this. They wouldn't refund us. It was like a horrible experience. So we basically just played Warcraft 3 Customs instead, which was pretty fun, but it was largely... we were quite angry. So hopefully it goes better than that. It should be like a store-wide tournament, like just like 4 locations, I believe, in Southern California, and we can win some prize money and stuff. So I talked about it on the video yesterday. It should be fun though. So got Battle Fury, I've got BKB. The only real reason I need to use BKB is if I'm worried about the Leshrac. And maybe you could argue this is my first mistake of an item purchase this game, but I don't really need BKB if I'm not going after the Leshrac, essentially. The Leshrac is the hero that I'd have to be worried about. It's like the only stun that I can really reduce. I guess I could stop Riptide, I could stop like Phantom Lance, and I could stop Spawn Spiderlings, but I don't know. Like, largely, I don't need the BKB that much. But it's still there. I mean, if the team fight starts and I need to jump on directly on top of one of those support heroes and I want to not worry about getting blown up, then I have that option. I mean, I'm still going to get RP'd, but I mean, I could reduce a lot of magic damage. So, and that's really the important thing about it, is that you are guaranteeing that you don't have to just completely die to magic nukes in some of those early team fights. I backed off a little bit of the illusions, and right there I was starting to feel a little scared because I actually did take a lot of mana drain there. If you get all your mana drained, you're in a lot of trouble. That's another thing BKB is actually good for. It does stop Abyssal Blade drain, so that was pretty cool. I think I was considering buying like an AC or a butterfly here, and Aosin said to buy a Abyssal Blade, which is definitely the right choice. It's usually an early pickup for a Phantom Assassin because she has no disable, naturally, so you kind of need to just get it from an item. And one of the ways you can do that is from an Abyssal Blade. You get plus 40 damage here, and then once you finish the Abyssal Blade, you can blink in and get the reliable stun with the 2-second disable. So, with just a Skull Basher, you don't have completely reliable, but it gives you, what, a 1.4 second stun every 25% on average. So, it's not too bad. And it gives you a little HP on top of that, so I've seen a lot of PAs generally go for a build like Drum Phase Basher, or Drum Basher, or Drum Abyssal, something like that. It's usually pretty good. They don't have crit that way, or they don't have cleave that way, and they don't have magic immunity, but it gives you okay HP, and it lets you fight a lot early, so. It was actually the real PL. I wasn't completely sure about this. After the fact, Yosin said, oh, you should have gone in on that, but I guess I should have. I think he has a Blink Dagger. That's the real one. I had to BKB that because I knew he was going to ulti. I felt sad after the fact, though, because I actually was on cooldown for quite a bit. And most importantly, I needed to get away from the Edict. That was the main thing that was doing damage to me right here. Oh, that was so lucky. He wasted his RP trying to kill me. Got a lucky bash there. We got the kill. I got 2 crits in a row. The luckiest thing that actually happened there in that fight, though, was that the Magnus was going to RP me, but he wanted to... I don't know, he hesitated, he cancelled it. And then when he did cast it, my BKB ran out, and as soon as my BKB ran out, the sleep caught me, which meant I was invulnerable. So he completely wasted his ulti. Completely. He got nothing out of it.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Wouldn't have been the best ulti anyways, because he only would have gotten me, and I was full HP, but it maybe would have gone better. And they have a couple dead heroes, so we're going to try to take the tower quick. It's a really nice stun. We're going to back up at this point, because we're feeling a little scared. We maybe could have fought, but just playing it safe here. Saw they had some stacks here, so I wanted to kill this. I told the Darkseer to just wait on the low ground so I could blink to them. Didn't really feel like running through the river instead. In case there were people behind me, it made my escape a little easier. And rather than go to the Roshan pit, because I was scared they were chasing me, I was just going to go send the courier to purchase my Sacred Relic now, which will finish my Abyssal Blade. So once you make an Abyssal Blade on PA, especially if you're at this point where you have this much farm and these many items, my GPM should be really high, actually. Yeah, it's really high, the highest in the game. It's because I'm getting kills and I'm not dying. I've only died once so far. You should be able to start ganking or solo killing once you get Abyssal, and I believe I do that a couple times. Abyssal Blade is actually extremely expensive. I think it's one of the most, I think it's the highest cost in the game other than like a Dagon 5 or upgradable items, but it's for a good reason. It does 100 damage, which is great. You want plus damage items on PA because you crit harder, and you get a reliable disable for 2 seconds. So you can blink, do an active. One of the downsides is the mana cost is really high in this, and Phantom Assassin's mana pool is pretty garbage, actually. She has one of the worst int gains in the game, if not the worst. One per level. That's really bad. So this means I'm now limited by my mana uses a bit. I have to worry about Phantom Strike, Stifling Dagger, and Abyssal. If I had like a Shadow Blade or something, I'd actually be seriously concerned about my mana pool. But I still do have to worry slightly about it because they have a Diffusal Blade. Diffusal Blade will drain me. So I have to be a bit careful with my mana. I still have a magic stick if needed though, so that's why I pick up a magic stick, mostly for mana. most cases. I'm going to TP back to defend. I decided to eat that stun. I knew he was going to stun it. Didn't care. I didn't want to pop my BKB for that or anything. I assumed that since there was some bottom that I was unlikely to be initiated on from that, so... Now I'm critting for about 1400. Got some PLs to deal with.
Radiant's bottom tower.
I was a bit worried if there was a fight over there. So we got the Brood. That was a lot of gold.
Dire's top tower has been denied.
They did deny the top tower, which was a little unfortunate, but...
Haste.
I kind of felt like I wished I had a gem or something like that. Because there were many times where I knew the Brood was around, but I was a little unsure where he was, so... I don't know, maybe we should have done that differently. We did still have, like, dust and stuff very often, but... Might have been better off just going for other stuff. Aosin's doing really well. He has a Aghanims and a Blink Dagger. He's 3-0 and 16. Dare I say perfect Earthshaker game. He's doing really well as support. Just like my last hit there. That's good. So didn't really feel safe anywhere past that, so I'm going to go back into the jungle. Critting the jungle is a really nice way to start it. Okay, and now I'm basically down to luxury items. These are mostly, everything I got from this point is pretty much core. BKB is almost always core in PA. Abyssal Blade is pretty darn wanted. And Battle Fury is needed against the Brood. And the PL. Pretty much completely needed. So, from here, I have a couple item choices. The first item I thought was Monkey King Bar. Because eventually the PL is going to get evasion. And I'm going to want to preferably predict that. That way, as soon as he gets evasion, it does absolutely nothing for him. I can grab Monkey King Bar. I can get a Butterfly if I really want to. Evasion now stacks diminishingly. So that means if I get a Butterfly, it'll stack with my 40%, and then it'll be extremely hard to hit, which means the PL illusions are very likely to duplicate. I don't know if they duplicate off of Evasion or not. I'd have to look that up, but they might not duplicate. They might not get mana drain on me. All of these things. I knew the Leshrac was obviously high ground because he just stunned me. Always use your dagger to break the Lincolns, and then use the Blink Strike to get attack speed. That's what you should do. I decided to sell my magic stick. This is probably a little greedy, because I waited so long, but you can just blink on this guy. He actually does have a Ghost Scepter. And we get killed. Leshrac again, completely solo, decides to pull that crap. We're so confused. Again, the Broodmother, like, they had so many throw deaths like that. If they just would pull those back, like, not ever die in stupid ways. They died in stupid ways so many times this game. I mean, I guess that Brood also didn't get a Dagon 5. I mean, might give them a better chance of winning, but, you know, they just did a lot of weird stuff. Okay, so I said MKB, I said Butterfly is a possibility, and I also didn't mention this, but AC is another great possibility. AC is pretty much an alternative to Butterfly, especially was probably the right choice before the change to Evasion stacking. Upsides of AC is I guarantee survivability. I'll talk about this in a second. I'm going to go for a Magnus Gank. I do have Abyssal Blade, so I have a good shot of being able to kill him. I got to close the gap so I can dagger and blink immediately. And I got lucky and I got a crit, so worked out. I probably would have had 4 or 5 chances of hitting him there. 15% for a crit is 1 out of 8, I believe. So I got slightly lucky in the crit. Importantly, I also waited like 2 hits before I Abyssal Bladed. You don't want to use it immediately, because usually there's a small period of time where your opponent's going to react, and he ended up reacting a bit late, but largely, you know, I think that worked out nicely. That does not look very good for Night Stalker. I guess we're going to be team fighting.
My veiled sister.
So I decided to bring some illusions. I'm fine running into this because I'm just going to fight anyways. I wanted to jump in here to kill the illusions. Okay, so if you get Butterfly, you're extremely evasive to all of these awesome things, but the problem is if he ever makes an MKB, I just get screwed because it like completely counters the evasion component. But basically I want an attack speed item that might also give me damage. Butterfly gives me more damage, because I would get 60 damage from the item from 30 agility or 30 and 30 damage. But AC guarantees that I have the survivability regardless of them having MKB or not. Also, it gives me minus armor, which means I can do more damage to towers and stuff like that. So it's better for my allies as well. They get attack speed, they get armor, all this good stuff. I'm being really aggressive now because I have a Aegis, so I don't really care about my personal safety. If I didn't have Aegis, I would not be standing here because I can't see them, all that stuff. So I'm going to take some damage. I'm going to blink back momentarily while I'm netted because I don't want to take any damage for free. I maybe could have just been hitting the tower the whole time, but regardless, the tower's gone again. Other creeps are gone again. I did actually blink to the Magnus, but this didn't look very good. I did get lucky and kill him. So I'm just going to go super ham. Isn't that scary? I have Aegis again. I do need to be in a better position before I die, though. And I was able to get the tower before I went down. So, all in all, that went okay. I decided to BKB here because I really didn't want to get stunned. Alright, we got him. It's going to force his buyback. Gotta kill the illusions. Got a bash just now. Man, I really wanted to kill him.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Is
attack.
that Leshrac? My target priority, I think, there was pretty darn good, but it wasn't quite perfect. I maybe should have gone after the Leshrac there instead of going after the PL, but I really wanted to kill the PL a second time. That would have been so huge. At this point, we decided it was time to run. He did cancel, by the way. He did cancel that. He didn't waste it.
Radiant's bottom tower is
Our push was pretty good. I didn't end up dying. I did use Aegis, but we killed the PL, and we forced a buyback out of him. So this is a really good fight for us. So since I had 8,000 gold, I decided to buy Boots of Travel because it was almost out of item slots anyways. And then I'm going to go pick up whatever various damage item I need. So I think I bought all the components to an AC because I just said, whatever, I'm going to get an AC. So I said, okay, build an AC. I'll have more armor. I'll give more armor to my allies. I'll give more attack speed to my allies. AC does give you a lot more armor than Butterfly does. Butterfly gives you about 7, I believe. AC gives you 15. So quite a bit of a difference there. But again, the evasion is really nice. Another reason that I don't know, maybe I should have gotten the Butterfly. I honestly think I maybe should have. It's hard to say. Maybe I should have skipped the Boots of Travel for a while as well. Also a little unsure about that. But I might as well keep the Phase Boots for now. You can use the Phase Boots active while you have Boots of Travel. It does still give you 24 damage. It's actually really nice to have both Phase and Boots of Travel. There's very little downside. The only downside is that you lose out on this base 50 movement speed on the Phase Boots. Everything else works though. You get the damage, and you can use the movement speed active to run around. So it was really nice to have both these at the same time. But eventually you sell your Phase Boots and you get another item, whatever. And Boots of Travel is nice because the 100 movement speed, all that good stuff. So I got AC. The reason that Butterfly might have been really nice against this hero composition, with the exception of all the other evasion that I talked about, is that MKB is never an item that a PL wants to make. If you can get away with it as a PL, you completely skip the Monkey King bar. There's a lot of stuff that you have to build as a PL. If we look at his items very briefly, because we can do this after this almost fight doesn't happen, but it's so great to just one-shot illusions. You're always going to build a Diffusal. Well, not always. Sometimes you go Radiance build, but you're going to build a Diffusal, you're going to build a Manta, that's 2 items, you're going to build a Heart, that's 3 items, you're going to have Boots, that's 4 items. So your first 4 items, nowhere in sight is going to be a Monkey King bar. And in fact, if you build a Monkey King bar in there, it's going to really severely limit your illusion output. Your next item after that is usually a Butterfly, which is your 5th item, because you need evasion at that point to make illusions really hard to kill and to make them attack really fast. And then you have your 6th item. Your 6th item is where your MKB can be. Sometimes you'll get your MKB for 5th item instead of Butterfly, but pretty much every other of those 4 items are going to be the same. You're not going to skip Heart, you're not going to skip Manta, you're not going to skip Abyssal Blade. So basically, if I get a really early Butterfly, it basically means that I'm never going to die to the PL. It's just not going to happen because I have 40% evasion, and then you get a Butterfly on top of that, which I think gives you around 60%, something like that. So if you have 60% evasion against a hero, he just can't kill me, period. So maybe I should have just gotten the Butterfly. I think I honestly should have over the AC. It's hard to say. It would have made me crit harder. I would have attacked slightly faster, like 5% faster, and I would have had 35% freaking evasion from my item. It's hard to say. It would have made me really good against Brood as well. I don't know. Instead, I opted to grab a Reaver and an AC. So, my mistake that I was making here is that I completely forgot about that fact that I wanted to make a really fast MKB. Aosin said, oh no, don't get MKB this early, it's too early. And I was like, okay, whatever. And then I completely forgot about the item. So, now we're going to hit a period where the PL is getting his 5th item, which is now Butterfly. And I am not even close to getting an MKB. So this is a pretty big mistake for me. Not like an amazingly huge mistake, because I have pretty good Darn farm anyways, and Cleave is actually very good against evasion heroes regardless. For the fact that you don't actually have to hit the evasion hero. You can hit everything else but the evasion hero. You'll cleave onto the evasion heroes, and it hits them no matter what. Doesn't matter if you have evasion, cleave is going to hit you. So that means if I crit on a creep, or if I crit on another hero, the illusions are still going to take damage. Or when I do eventually hit the illusions, it will still guarantee me a hit. So Aosin continues dunking the Broodmother. Everything is going pretty good. The reason I picked up the Reaver, by the way, is because I'm going to go for a Satanic. I thought about the last fight that I was in. I didn't actually end up dying in that fight, but for some reason I kind of felt like I did. I did die once, that's right, because I died with the Aegis. When I died, it was more of like a really prolonged fight where I eventually died kind of a thing. I was really considering going on this PL here. I thought for sure it was that one. That was really smart when he did a Manta split. I missed a lot on those illusions. He does finally have a Talisman of Evasion, by the way. So he Manta split, and then he immediately went Invis. I could tell which one was the real one, just by seeing the way it moved. But I wasn't able to get the kill, because he obviously used his illusion immediately. That was really smart. The PL was honestly very good. He did a lot of nice little tricks like that I hadn't seen before. So, I do not have any lifesteal. You could argue I maybe should have gotten a Helm of the Dominator instead of a Reaver, but I opted for just more HP. I was like, I'll just get 500 HP. Ended up critting on the Magnus here. Glyph was used. So I'm going to back out very temporarily. Man, the Talisman Evasion is honestly making things very difficult here. When I do actually crit, though, they will all die. Nightstalker was in there, if I'm not mistaken. If they can just continue to kill the creep wave, though, it really limits our possibility to go in. That's all they're doing. I actually have pretty good HP regen right now, too. I'm just going to commit to the Rex. I threw the dagger on the Magnus, very importantly. I wanted to make sure that he wasn't going to be able to blink initiate. And I was able to kill the Leshrac with my Abyssal, so one dead here. He actually did have a Ghost Scepter, so that was a big kill. It was a really big kill. Now I'm going to commit on the Magnus. We are losing Rax in the meantime. I don't know if we had a gem, but I could see this guy, which is cool. My damage is really bad if I don't crit, though. That's for sure. What did I crit as well, so...
Radiant's bottom barracks has fallen. Dire's top tower is under
This crits, man. So good.
Monster kill.
Almost killed the Magnus. He was able to kill the Leshrac.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Okay, so I died. If I had a Helm of the Dominator, I maybe could have survived. I probably could have. I really should have grabbed a Helm of the Dominator instead. I think it's probably better than the Reaver, honestly. I mean, if I crit for 1400 and I'm lifestealing for 15%, that should give me 200 HP. 200 HP every time I crit. Easily better than a Reaver. Reaver's better for burst HP, obviously, but they weren't really going to burst kill me anyways, so I guess it wasn't worth it to grab the Reaver first. I just felt like buying the expensive item first, and I think that was a mistake. If I had a Helm of the Dominator, I probably could have continued fighting there rather than just eventually getting work down. I mean, it took a really long time for me to die there, but... And also, I might as well just finish the Satanic at this point, now that I have the Reaver, in my opinion. I could start working towards an MKB, but sorry about that mic bump. But I think the better option is just to go for the Satanic at this point. Because I thought, again, that fight... The illusions are slightly difficult to deal with. I can't just, like, reliably kill them as fast as I want to. There's his items, by the way. He's almost 6-slotted. The downside is he still has a Vanguard, so he has to sell his Vanguard eventually and grab a different item. But once I make Satanic, I can make a butterfly or a MKB instead, and then I'll have no problem with the peel, or hopefully that'll be the case. Aosin says, what items should you sell? And I'm like, Black King Bar. That's an item I honestly don't need. I really don't. The only thing that the Black King Bar is preventing is magic nukes and Leshrac stun. That's it. And Skewer, I guess. That's it. That's like nothing. And I guess the peel nuke, but whatever. So I respawn, I buy the Satanic, I have the same HP, but I now have an extra 20 damage, I have an extra 5 armor, and most importantly, I have 25% lifesteal across the board. And if I'm in a lot of trouble, I can activate it for 0 mana. 0 mana importantly, because I can use it against a PL at all times. And then I should be able to hit full HP no matter what. My damage number is actually not that high right now. It's looking okay, but it's not that amazing. Again, I'm kind of regretting not purchasing Butterfly, but man, they like really want to kill this guy top. So many spiders. I couldn't actually see if those spiders died during the game. I assume they did, but you can't see them when they're invis and die unless you're the one getting the gold. So they all got gold though. So he's so farmed that he got a refresher orb. That's how farmed he is. I'm a little scared about their team right here, so I pulled the creeps back just a slight amount. I now crit slightly harder as well. Brood's being kind of annoying top, so I'm going to go stop that. I don't have phase boots anymore, of course, so I'm not always quite as fast. Spiders. Yeah, we're definitely getting way more kills than these guys, but they're split pushing really well. I don't think we've lost a Rax yet, but it's looking a little scary. Did we lose bot Rax? Yeah, we did actually, I think. Can't see. Yeah, bot Rax is gone. So we lost bot melee Rax. We do, however, we have not lost top yet. So some super tanky peel illusions. So next goal for me is farm until I get MKB. I can drop my BKB. You cannot sell it anymore. It's been a while since you're able to sell BKB. But I'm going to have to wait for a BKB or an MKB, and then I can just completely kill the illusions easily. Kill all the illusions. I was starting to feel slightly helpless against the illusions, honestly. They're still I can still deal with them. It's not that bad, but it's not as easy as I wished it would be. Especially when I miss them the time. That is the worst. If I do get a crit, though, it's a lot better, but they usually die every time I get a crit, but sometimes it's not enough. So I think we have a bit of a period of just kind of farming for a while. Which, unfortunately for you guys, you're going to have to watch. Got a lot of CS this game, though. Let's look at some other stats. Let's see the overall net worths and stuff. Yeah, the game's actually really close. They had a pretty good advantage, but then this must have been one of the fights where they threw a bunch of their lives away. Yeah, this is where they threw their lives away a couple times here. So then as we slowly peak up and up and up, they're basically out farming us, I believe. Oh shoot, I missed. I almost killed that brood. Sorry about that, guys. I had the graph up. I almost killed him. I like blinked and jumped and abyssaled him and stuff. Almost killed him. My bad. Like blocked that all. That's gold earned. EXP is in our favor, but it's coming back. And that's just because they're split pushing much better than us. It's the brood again being very smart.
Pick a different place to raise a family next time.
There was multiple times in this game where we said WTF out loud because we were confused. We're like, what? What is happening? I considered TPing back for this to try to stop the illusions, but it looked like my team handled it anyways. Hero illusions, man.
Radiant's bottom barracks has fallen.
Saw a Leshrac over here, so I was like, oh hey, let's try to get a kill. And I figured that was the real PL because he came in solo, so I just TP'd out. In case I felt helpless against PL, he should feel more helpless against me. Did you see how much damage that guy did? He did like nothing. He did absolutely nothing. No point BKBing for that as well, obviously. The only thing again that would stop is the mana drain. There's a possibility there was a hero nearby, but I figured there wasn't because I was in a really out of position place. So, blink Abyssal, get a free kill, retreat. So this is an okay time for us to push now that the Leshrac is dead for a bit. I'm very close to MKB. I believe it's like 5,400 for an MKB purchase. I think, I'm not sure which lane we're pushing. I guess bottom. We already got mid, so we don't really need to push mid. And then we're worried about getting split push top again. I was going to head bot with the anticipation of TPing out, but then I realized my Boots of Travel's were on cooldown, so I needed to go back to defend. And then I could actually TP to the fight if needed. I think my BKB is still on a really good cooldown too. It's at 7, which is not bad. And that's again because I haven't been popping it when I don't need to.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Once you kill the illusions, the threat of Raxian is like completely gone. I could just Satanic this wave, but I didn't think about that at the time. Actually, I didn't think it was worth it, is I think what happened. I'm getting like 70 HP per hit. It's pretty good. Pretty darn good. Just want to blink in here. Get some cleave going. Took a lot of patience to not do anything during that. That was pretty good though. There's a lot of solo kill potential with that. It's honestly not too horrible of a build. If we weren't so far ahead and we had more squishy supports, like if our supports were defending instead of me, definitely could have killed somebody because he just did like that's a lot of nuke damage. Like that was like 1,600 points of damage or something with one little combo. After resistance, that's pretty massive. So I ended up surviving. I could have popped BKB. If you are worried about an Abyssal Blade and you think you're going to die 100%, you can Black King Bar for it. If you Black King Bar, then it will remove the Ethereal. Almost a fight going on mid, I think.
Reload and purpose with it.
So I'm going to start purchasing MKB components. I'm about 180 gold away from having it finished. This is actually the real one, I didn't realize at the time. Looks like the real Pale's one right over there hiding in the trees. So I now wait for the courier. I'll put the BKB on the courier and then transfer the MKB. And this is the item build that I probably should have gone for the whole time, basically. Move the courier slightly to adjust for the illusions, just in case. Again, you could argue that I should have a butterfly over an AC, and I think looking back I would have. But that felt good right there. That gives me another 300 crit damage. I now crit for 1,800 instead of like 1,500. And I never miss, and I'm never going to miss again. Will not happen. So, that was pretty nice. Alright, I'm getting text message. I would never do this normally, but we're organizing to go to the LAN, so I really need to check this. Okay, I don't think they're important. Alright, good. I thought it might be one of the people going to the LAN with us trying to organize, so sorry about that, I had to check. The LAN is, we have to leave in like 30 minutes, so it was important. Ugh.
I'll hurry my foe to a
So much regret not getting Battlefield this game. The damage. I could have crit for like 1,900 or something. I guess I'm still critting harder because they do have 5 minus armor, so. We thought they were actually playing really, really safe, and then we saw the Magnus there, so we're like, okay, I guess they're gonna be fighting. So we said, okay, whatever, we're getting kind of bored, let's go up mid. The lanes are slightly pushed out as well. Somebody's gonna defend top, but I think it was. So that's Night Stalker. I don't think he can actually stop the PL though. I guess Earthshaker's there as well. On the bright side, I should be able to get a range barracks, and boy did I.
Dire's middle barracks.
Then we said, okay, we'll shift bottom.
Radiant structures are fortified. Dire's structures are fortified.
Alright, here comes the Naga ulti. Aosen immediately TP to the mid creeps with his Boots of Travel. That was a huge dunk. Really Got the PL. Haven't used Abyssal yet, so I'm looking for an Abyssal target. I'm in the air. I wanted to guarantee a kill on a support here, so I got him. This may have been a mistake. I used Satanic just now to get the full heals. I'm actually out of mana now, which is a little scary. I'm trying to crit on, like, lifesteal on anything I could, but it wasn't quite enough. I bet if I had a butterfly there, I would have been fine.
Kill you with 5 eyes closed.
So I guess we can look at other items if you guys are curious really quick. Aosin's relatively farmed. They actually have quite a bit as well. Definitely should have Butterfly. I think if I had Butterfly, I couldn't die. I think it'd be impossible. Because they don't have MKB yet. I think they're PL. About now is when he picked up his Demon Edge, I believe. So he still doesn't have MKB. They could have worked me down eventually with magic damage, I think, though.
The job is done.
Radiant's top barracks has fallen.
He went invisible just then. We actually didn't have detection. We must have lost a gem during the fight. I did see a couple gems on the ground. I don't know why he popped his ulti just now. That was weird.
Radiant's top barracks has fallen.
I was really sad about that. I could have gotten that kill. If I just sat back a second and didn't walk into his stun on creeps, I could have 100% killed him with Abyssal Blade. You're not 100%. I guess I get unlucky and not crit, but...
Invisibility!
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
It's good crits, man. So now we said, okay, we lost 2 racks, let's just go up the middle. This is basically what we decided to do. Naga's gonna ulti because she didn't want to die. And she was hoping for a setup, but nobody's coming. They're not gonna get here in time, so we decided to go for it. We kind of had to do this because we're getting split push. It's taken us a lot to try to take a rack, so instead we kind of just have to go for the throne.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And if you look at our base, the PL is probably down there, as is the Brood. They kind of know they can't fight us, so they're just going to try to race us, and there's no way they can do it, I don't think. Yep, and that's it. So, they couldn't fight us at that point, probably. They should have probably tried to fight us. I just don't think they're anticipating the 5-man mid kind of a thing. So, he did RP me, at least, to try to reduce my damage output, but it was way too much. So we ended up winning. I pretty much just snowballed off of kills, and then in the mid game we forced a lot of buybacks, which meant they couldn't catch up in terms of farm. Again, if I got Butterfly instead of the AC, I think they would have had no chance of beating me. Now keep in mind, I've been like harping on how much I should have gotten a Butterfly. If they had any other hard carry that could vaguely fit into an MKB into their lineup, wouldn't have been worth it. If they had, like, I don't know, maybe an Anti-Mage would be another example of a hero that I could get an early Butterfly against, because it would be very late for him to get a MKB. But if they had, like, I don't know, like a Faceless Void, or like a Priest of the Moon, or something like that, then they could just squeeze it in. But if it's a hero like Anti-Mage or Phantom Lancer, go for it. Basically an Illusion Hero. Illusion Heroes usually delay the MKB a very long time, so I would say that would be worth it. But we still ended up winning. They had really good split push, and Aosin was able to never die, so that worked out pretty good for him, and we ended up winning. So that's a PA game. Probably one of the better ones I've ever had. My GPM was pretty solid. I got a lot of last hits, 522, and we ended up winning, so worked out. Helped a lot that Aosin was directing the game as well. He basically just like directed everything, so it worked out great. So that's PA. Hope you guys enjoyed, and there will be a stream for the LAN today. I think it's twitch.tv/Howie's Game Shack or something like that. God, I'm really glad that didn't show just now. Let's see. Where is the link? It's a Facebook post, I believe. Let me go check it quick. Oops. Is this the right one? This is the right one. Facebook events. Okay, it is twitch.tv/Howie's Game Shack. So I'll put that link down below if you guys want to watch. By the time you're watching this video, it should be up. I might not be on the stream at the time because I think it's like I think they'll probably spectate random games throughout the tournament, and we might not always be playing on them. But if you guys want to see updates, I'm sure I'll be tweeting about it. That's at Purge Gamers and writing about it on Facebook, and that's the facebook.com/Purge Gamers. So if you guys want to watch, it'll probably be really easy. Honestly, I'm not just being cocky. Every time we go to a local LAN that is small like this, it's usually completely one-sided. But if you guys want to watch us stomp people, then you can watch. Although our team is a little bit worse than quite a bit worse than it normally is, so there's a chance that we could lose. But I'd be really surprised. I'd be very surprised if we don't win. So, okay, I think that's about it. All right, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you later. Goodbye.